Internet service providers will now need to follow new rules that they're most likely not happy about. In a 3-2 FCC vote, broadband providers will be required to adjust the way they've always done business in order to protect consumer online privacy. Joining us now to explain is Ben Fox-Rubin, reporter at CNET. So Ben, there's two parts to this ruling, the company side and the consumer side. Let's start with the company side. What changes for the service providers and how will it impact their businesses?
Primarily, this is going to be a big change potentially for consumers because of a new opt-in clause, which essentially requires these ISP companies, these broadband service providers, to request consumers to specifically request whether they can scrape data from consumers, whether it's different kinds of sensitive data, as far as social security information, location data, web browsing history, all those different things.
And what about the consumer? How are they going to be protected? What changes for them? And what are they going to have to do in order to opt in for these changes? Or is it just going to happen automatically?
Companies have about a year to make these changes. And one of the interesting aspects of this is that the FCC is requiring clear, persistent, and conspicuous changes. So you might see this as an email. You might actually see this as a dialog box or a banner from your ISP provider. But the expectation is that anytime an ISP is actually going to be scraping or taking any of your sensitive data, it will tell you about it and will actually be required to tell you how to change your privacy settings as well. So it could actually provide a lot more transparency for customers.
But we know all these agreements, like this one, I'm sure, they're all so wordy, and it's assumed most consumers probably just scroll to the bottom, they click agree. Let's face it, we click agree to all these things, we don't know what we're actually agreeing to. How transparent are these rules going to be, and what are they actually going to see online?
It's still unclear, actually. It's still going to take a year for this stuff to actually come forward. And it's very hard to actually tell what this is actually going to look like. Maybe a couple of years down the road, it may actually change to something where it just gets thrown into a general broad consent form that everybody just clicks through on. So I think this is going to actually require the FCC to continue enforcement to ensure that customers are constantly reminded of what's actually happening to their data.
And what about this big story, AT&T, Time Warner, the merger, obviously. And we don't know if it's going to go through or not. Same thing with Verizon and Yahoo. How are these rules going to impact these companies and these mergers?
It could be a very thorny situation for those two mergers, especially because these are broadband and distributor providers that are also picking up content makers that they hope to use to do more targeted advertising. This is a type of situation that could actually significantly harm their targeted advertising business. So this definitely makes these companies, I would imagine, very unhappy.
What about Google and Facebook? It seems like they're not going to have to adhere to these rules. How come they get a pass here?
Google and Facebook and every other website is actually under FTC rules, not FCC rules. So the FCC created these new rules for broadband providers. However, Google and Facebook do get a pass this time around. It would be interesting to see if the FTC ends up picking up similar guidelines. But at this point, it really is a change on the broadband side, not on website side.
I like you're getting tripped up there on the alphabet soup of government
Right, exactly.
organizations, and that's how these loopholes all start. Ben, thanks for joining us. Everybody else, thanks for watching. I'm Eric Chemi. Have a great day.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the I right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.